So we're about 21 years in the previous place, and we're looking for a new community to serve. When the church leadership floated the notion about buying a place, we are a congregation of only about 60 to 70 people. So for such a financial undertaking, it's actually a pretty large project. We previously taken over this place from also another house of worship. They're a bit more conservative than us, so they did not need to beef up much of the sound isolation. All the design work you see here is all pretty much done in-house because we really wanted to let the younger adults sort of express themselves, and even in terms of project management, it was all handed to them. However, when it came to specifics, for example, how do you build an audio system suited for this space, I think that's where we became a bit stuck.
Robert does most of the design for the venue and equipment specifications as well. And we were just more involved with how to integrate these things on site, working alongside the main contractor, especially on the stage area where we had to have the cables coming at the right time before they seal up certain parts.
It's got a really odd shaped hall, right? It's not a typical square or rectangle hall. It's got a little slant angle, and that makes it really challenging. And then plus the very low ceiling. So trying to create a very evenly sound distributed space is going to be difficult without using too many loudspeakers. So we have to fit in as few speakers with low profile kind of design and yet give that big sound.
Usually we do have a full band. I mean, depending on who's on duty. We used to run like 2 flight cases worth of rack equipment. It had to be switched on in a specific order, switched off in a specific order, and you will get pops or something. Or now that part of that sequence is automated, it does save your investment in terms of prolonging the life of your equipment, and it's less daunting for the volunteer. The guys come in, they switch on one master switch, everything sequences on. By then, they've got the mics out and they're probably much ready to go.
The Allen Heath systems are really easy to use. So it is very friendly towards church volunteers, especially those who are not, they're non-professionals. They come here just once to serve a month and things like that. And the ME1s are basically designed together with, or rather meant for the Allen Heath mixers, so they match perfectly. So in terms of the ease of channeling the required channels to the various musicians and singers on stage, it's very common these days to have a confidence monitor so that the pastor or the preacher will be able to read off his slides or know that his slides are being displayed on the screen instead of having to turn around and look at the main projection screen. So that is something that is very standard practice today, right, in churches, whether it's large church or a small church setup. So we have that, right? Then of course, it's also very common to have a camera, a video camera. Sometimes they need to record the service down, and in today's context, a lot of us need to live stream our services. I don't think there's such a thing as a small church requirement and a big church. I think there's still the baseline that every church needs, right? And this allows them to grow into the next 5, 10, 15 years without having to upgrade or change and things like that. So I think it's a worthwhile investment.
I think like every church, if nothing goes wrong, no one really thanks you for it. And I'm glad that it's transparent to the church members. Of course, we deal with church funding, so I'm glad that we are also able to be accountable for the economy of the system. I mean, we are not spending hundreds and thousands of dollars on a sound system, but something that justifies the needs that we have here.